Goodbye, Muni.
If you're moving in, I am moving out.
I don't need a hero. I need a friend.
Love is always the answer.
Now let Marco go.
My thoughts on Marco?
I do have a crush on you.
Star? I can't believe you're here. I was thinking we'd maybe never see each other. Where's Star?
She's gone.
Hi.
Hi.
I've been watching you all night. You have feelings for your best friend, dude.
Sorry, Mom.
Well, you Star vs. fanatics, we're finally here in the endgame of the Star vs. the Forces of Evil series. However, I can officially give you my answer on which series is better, Star vs. or Gravity Falls. And after this finale, yep, I'm gonna have to stick with Gravity Falls. And that's not to say that Star vs. was bad, cause my gosh, this show had a great ending and had me turning on my cable box every now and then, rather than just watching a bunch of Vine compilations to satisfy myself on a daily basis. If anything, I was more than disappointed to see such an amazing series have a finale that lasted just as long as a regular episode and to be aired at 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday. But who do you know will wake up at 7:30 a.m. just to watch a cartoon episode? Besides me. The entirety of Season 4 was sadly underrated, mistreated, and was a complete slap in the face to all of the animators, Brian, and all of the writers who worked diligently on the show. I don't mean to be rude, I'm just still upset about how much they degraded this show. I've never heard of such a thing. Anyways, this finale packed a punch, and even though it ended with a conclusion that some of most saw coming, it was still very much enjoyable to watch and entertaining to catch all of the small Easter eggs from previous episodes. So now that my ramble is finished, let us begin with our final and most savage episode analysis of Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Okay, now first of all, the intro had to be shortened for the first time in Star vs. history due to the episode's runtime. I assumed at first watch that something was wrong with Demand, but nah. The episode resumes with where we left off in the tavern at the end of the multiverse after Star explains that she has to destroy the magic. But there was a short moment in the trailer that was included, but however not shown in the finale itself. Hecapu even admits to realizing that magic seemed to have done more harm than good, and I'm sure that it also had to do with her many bonding experiences with Marco, Talon, and the rest. Plus, after Hecapu slaps Marco in the back of his head again for the final time, we also see Meteor giving somewhat of a smirk on her face as if she knows of his pain. It was subtle, but dang, that's just hilarious. I'm gonna miss that. We immediately get into action with Star transforming into her Muberty form and creating a portal to the realm of magic. Moon and Eclipse suggest that they should all fight with Star, but Star says no since she felt extremely confident about what to do. Plus, I'm sure that the last thing she needed on her mind was Moon or Eclipse being in danger again. And before they head their way back into the realm, Marco takes the wand in order to use it for the very last time. It was also the first moment Moon witnesses him using it. And also, both Moon and Eclipse witnessing Star and Marco being in a relationship, since they were originally too busy nearly killing each other to notice the first time. They finally arrive inside of the realm in order for Star to say the whispering spell, only to run into the fact that she instantly forgets. That is until Marco notices how the pudding that Glossaryck was offering gave Star and Marco both the ability to withstand the magic's amnesia-based atmosphere. Man, you guys caught on to that way better than me. I should have known that Marco wasn't holding another wand but instead a spoon. This the whole time was giving us a clue to the fact that Glossaryck's pudding was the key to getting rid of magic itself. We've been hearing pudding gags from Glossaryck since day one of meeting him, and here we are now.
You got any more?
Down goes the zipper.
Now, this is the moment where I would reference a terrible joke filled with innuendos, but I'm too good for that. Oh yeah, and Star's mill horse totally got obliterated by the other dark mill horses.
Get out.
out.
And speaking of dark mill horses, Tom is later seen riding the horse from before once after being left behind in Mama Star and possessed by the newly dark magic. So while Star goes on her way to end magic, Marco decides to fight off Tom using the wand, which was quite entertaining. He uses a cupcake blast just as Star would, but has trouble creating other spells she would do. And this made perfect sense when you consider all the practice and dedication put into performing magic. I was disappointed that he wasn't necessarily capable of pulling off a ton of mind-blowing spells, but appreciated the realism in that scenario. While all of that is going on, Mina catches up to where River and Eddie is before Eddie can even remember on how to speak Gator. So I guess Moon wasn't the only one aware of the Magic Sanctuary's alligators and the language they spoke. But they're soon ambushed by Mina and her followers. She only brings 2 of them, so I'm guessing that the rest of the Solarian warriors were too busy screwing over the kingdom still. And apparently, instead of sending the gators to pull up the sanctuary, Mina instructs them to pull it up with force, and later on we see it worked. We're then back to Star, who is seen attempting to suppress the magic, and we're also finally able to hear exactly what the Whispering Spell's lines consist of. Break the bond, tear the fabric, cleave the stone, stop the magic. This was not hearable in the Season 1 finale Storm the Castle, even if you were to play it in reverse. I tried that, unfortunately, but here it is now. She soon has trouble ridding of the magic inside due to the overwhelming amount taking over, but thankfully Moon and Eclipsa alongside with Meteora come along to help once Star treats them with the pudding before going insane themselves. They really took advantage of this moment in the trailer for the end, because I was expecting something heartbreaking to happen when Star was crying like this. Anyways, they managed to destroy the magic as they all dipped down, including Meteora, who was taught by Glossaryck to do so for this very moment. And we finally are revealed with both Eclipsa and Meteora's full Mubi form, something that fans were waiting for once we heard that she had never dipped down before without a wand. In addition to that moment, Eclipsa's dark veins are finally healed as well, just like Moon's when she travels in the realm for the very first time. In the meantime, Marco is still fighting off Tom and the corrupted mill horse and is later stabbed by it through the stomach when attempting to give Tom the pudding. If anything, I would have tried giving it to the horse and then Tom to see its potential effects, but that's just me. Once again, Marco is stabbed by the horse and is then thrown across the realm, and mind you, he was just shown being pierced by the horn through his back as well. How he managed to get right back up and later even flipped an entire horse is beyond my knowledge. Unless this was a result of just how strong Marco had become after spending his time within Hecapu's dimension, and him surviving severe flesh wounds is just what he was accustomed to. Still, that must have been extremely painful, and it should have been handled more serious than him simply zipping up his hoodie to ignore it until the end. Tom is then brought back to his former state and assists Marco up, with the both of them protecting Star and the rest as they destroy the magic realm. An incredible scene was the moment where all of the deceased queens help eradicate the magic, including Celeria herself, to whom Eclipsa purposely shuns during her appearance. But Celeria redeems herself by allowing Mina to practically be conquered by the rogue mill horse once Mina finds her way in after racing the sanctuary. And I understand that it was just a small moment of this happening, but it was good to actually see Darhenia the Heaped crack a smile for once. A simple moment like that just truly shows just how content all of the queens were with destroying the magic. Very soon, it comes to a near end, with the entrances to other worlds corroding and then eventually closing, the queens vanishing with Celeria having a warm closure with her daughter Eclipsa, and even Moon able to see her mother once more after all those years of separation, something Moon was definitely longing forward to the most. The magic out of the wand is even sadly shown to vanish as the realm weakens. Though Glossaryck technically is magic itself, he is crying tears of joy and says to Star that he's proud of her. He must have hated to give the first queen powers, but knowing that without doing so, Star and the rest wouldn't exist. And without those exact courses of events, both tragic and happy, happening, this would never have been set out the same way, much like Doctor Strange in Infinity War was explaining, but I won't spoil anything, don't worry. Glossaryck even explains that a captain must go down with his ship, and now that I think about it, he technically wasn't asked to be the commander of magic, but found a way to get rid of it. Through Star. And it's true, Toffee setting out his life to get rid of magic itself was a great thing. It was the reason for so many past mishaps throughout the Butterfly legacy. He was a complete jerk, but was sharp and as clever as could be. I swear, I wonder if Toffee and Glossaryck secretly were meeting up with one another to plan some of this out. I mean, was this the plan Toffee sought out to accomplish for the end? knowing that if he were to kill Moon's mother, Moon would vow revenge with Eclipse's spell, knowing that by specifically getting Buffrog of all people fired from Ludo's castle, he would later become one of Star's closest acquaintances. Later on, killing Toffee but yet freeing Eclipse ruling Muni only to be taken down by Mina for a short period, and then Star concluding to destroy the magic. Toffee knowing of Star and Marco's bond, which later saves the day again. Wait, so was Glossaryck truly the only one planning this all out, or was Toffee secretly a good guy this whole time and did all of those horrible things in order for these exact events to occur? And wouldn't that explain how Toffee knew about the very first spell Moon taught Star as a child? That was something I could not stop thinking about. Disney, please tell me that I'm right, because that would be the biggest plot twist of all time for me in this series. Eventually, the realm falls to pieces, and with only Star and Marco remaining inside, she says her very last goodbye, hugging Marco only to return and try to go back on Earth, letting go of Moon's hand. And what Star did was far more out of this world than what Marco did in the episode Running with Scissors back in season 2. I understand that Marco realized that he can't go back to Hekapu's dimension simply because of the fact that he will be missing out on his family, and also Star herself, because instead of her strictly doing this for her family and Marco, it's simply to be back with Marco. She is sacrificing all of her Muni friends, her family with Moon and River, and alongside with Eclipse and her husband, to instead be with Marco. That was just extremely powerful. Unfortunately, the Earth well closes, but so does the Munis, and Marco is revealed to still be in there anyways. The next few moments is of Glossaryck directing Star to Marco and them saying that they belong together, with both of their cheek marks glowing like how they did in Booth Buddies. Boy, let me just say that Toffee better have been a plot twist good guy, because he was probably the one who called it. Love is always the answer. He purposely gave Star that message as a fortune cookie in her pocket in one episode. There has to be a connection. They even finish one another's sentences without the Blood Moon curse.
Because with or without magic,
We belong together.
So, once they have their supposedly final moment together, they are sent to their proper places. The first observation to notice is that their cheek marks are now officially gone after Marco and Star's last encounter. Another point that you guys mentioned in the trailer promo, I am so sorry for missing that, because quite honestly, when I was done rendering the video, I felt so horrible. Wow. Star is then met up with Moon and the rest after being saved by one of the alligators near the sanctuary. And that's including Mina, who miraculously survives after having a vigorous tussle between her and the mill horse from earlier. And what a surprise! She still brings up Celeria, saying that she swore to always side with her, despite Celeria herself literally facing the other way once witnessing Mina get beat on. That right there should have been her way of knowing that her actions weren't for the greater good. She is then shot at with an arrow by a fellow monster and dies. Nah, this is a Disney show, y'all thought. Mina even continues on by saying that her ideas are like a bad fart, something that no one wants to smell but exists because everyone loves hot chili dogs. But instead, Mina walks off into the forest of certain death. Good luck with that. Along with Manfred, who dumbfoundingly comes along. Star then hugs Moon and finds Ponyhead, who is better after the effects from what I'm sure was due to Star and Margot's unity. Eclipse then asks Moon how Star was raised. Was it by teaching her sword combat or sending her to kindergarten? Moon responds by saying a little bit of both, which encourages Eclipse to do the same for Meteora in order to pass down Star's admirable traits. Now, I for one personally believe that Eclipse was depicted to be a sword combat child, considering the fact that there's a picture of her holding a sword with her mother Celeria. Star is shown with Ponyhead, who at first is annoying as usual, but is soon an actual friend who cheers up Star by telling her events of everyone else and how they're probably doing. And we got the official answer for as to what happens to Romulus and Omnitraxis once magic is gone. And as for my boo Hekapu, she probably got turned to dust. Tom then enters the room to explain that he was looking all over for Star, and that he told Ponyhead about it as well. And that right there must have been an indicator that Ponyhead had no interest in Tom and Star getting back together like before. The first thing she says when seeing them together is even "here we go again." Tom later on shows Star outside, revealing to her a strong beam of magic light like a portal. It then transitions over to Marco, who was later awakened on an emergency bed and his wound fully healed. And now that I think about it again, I bet the magic magic must have instantly healed it once he fell onto the ground. And it's either that or it was Star and Marco's magic, but I really believe that it was strictly from the realm because he was too capable of being able to move freely as soon as he was done being stabbed by the mill horse. Soon, his parents are there to comfort him, and so is Jana, who looks for Star. Marco then explains what happened, to which Jana tells him that at least he had her as a friend. And this could have been a result to what just transpired, as well as her last conversation with the quirky guy. Jana releases Marco from his bed to allow him to chase after the same beam of magic light Star saw. And then she somehow snaps her fingers in order to make herself unconscious for the next 60 seconds to stop her heart rate. That is just incredible. That was the perfect way to end Jana. Wow, what a way to go. That scene right there just proved to me that I will officially miss Jana. She will be missed. What a great character. And so, both Marco and Star from two different worlds are shown heading their way to the same portal-like beam, including Star running through the field of corn much like the trailer, but it wasn't. Cause guess what? They intentionally flipped the scene. They knew we were gonna analyze the map of Muni showing in which direction Star was heading, but joke's on them because I still slightly got it in my promo analysis, I guess. So yeah, basically she was heading in this direction the whole time near a various castle. And it's true, that very last episode we saw with Ludo was officially the end of his story arc, and I understood why they ended it right there. I mean, there was nothing else to be said. I'm so glad that worked out between him and his brother. We're then shown with Marco back on Earth, borrowing Jackie's skateboard in order to catch up in time. And remember, he never finished those lessons with Jackie. And that right there just shows the determination in Marco at this moment. Marco nearly makes it, but then the beam explodes and Marco lies on his back in tears, only to eventually notice Star and her heavy breathing from running. And so, the two worlds of both Muni and Earth have been officially cleaved. We have a large panorama shot of all sorts of characters, alongside with it ending on Star and Marco saying hi to each other. And I do understand that this is kinda horrible for the humans if you want to be honest, because one of the scenes even include a giant freaking spider going over someone's house and then spraying its web on a tree. But at the same time, here's why this is slightly good, and I even mentioned this in my promo analysis. Now that the two worlds have been collided, there are families that are no longer missing from the lineage in both Earth and Muni now. Because if you were to go back and remember, Skywind accidentally sent some of the humans back on Earth and separated their families. The camera then lifts up showing the end credits, and is there really any more to say? I felt at first that maybe there could be a TV movie out of this, but I really doubt the humans, or well, humans, are any longer wanting to try and fight again. We even have one of the humans admitting to the fact that they're no longer as hate-filled trying to get rid of the monsters anymore. And magic is clearly dead, and Star being unable to even cast spells on her own shows that it officially is. That is unless somehow some godly force will create another realm with another Glossaryck, but honestly, upon my second viewing of the episode, I appreciate the ending. And in the episode Pam-Ui Petit from Season 3, Ponyhead was capable of floating without her magic horn, so that debunks any potential of it coming back. We've been through a lot with this show, and Mina walking away with Manfred just shows that certain people can't be redeemed. Some move on, but not us. Oh god, I gotta stop referencing Avengers Endgame.